Hi, this is Mike of Nearly Enough Dice, and this is the Kerbal Space Program. What you're seeing at the moment is my best Scott Manley impersonation, in that I am running this at ×4 normal speed. And what I'm essentially doing right now is what I want to do is I want to do another satellite contract nice and quickly and see if that's possible. So what I'm trying to do at the minute is, can I take my existing satellite, which is in a very high polar orbit, and change it into the orbit that is required for the other orbit, which is a Kerbo-stationary orbit. Kerbo-stationary orbit, which is that purple orbit you can see. So I'm trying to go from that blue orbit to that purple orbit. And I have now given up because I worked out just how much delta V I was going to need to do for it, and I just didn't have enough. So I've now terminated it. I then spent a little bit of time looking to see if there's any space garbage I can get rid of, and I'm discovering I can't remember what space garbage is which, and I'm saying, yep, that's space garbage. That's this big empty fuel tank that I don't need anymore. But unfortunately, I have to go back and get it, go back into the tracking station to actually destroy it. And then I'm kind of looking at everything else. I'm going, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. So I gave that up on that as a bit of a bad job. So instead, I'm going to launch another polar satellite, a polar satellite with science, which is my generic science satellite. So if they ask me to launch a satellite, this is my generic launcher. And it's on a particular angle, as you can see. Now, there's all sorts of clever things I could do to ensure that I launch at exactly the right angle and exactly the right time, and there's code I could write in Chaos that would allow me to do this. So that's me checking the orbit. In a very brief thought of, hey, I could, make sure I launch myself at the right inclination, and yeah, I don't. What I am doing is I'm fast forwarding it so that I'm more or less under where the orbit is going to be. So here I am zooming off on this is actually a manual launch, which is not something I've done in a while. I tend to do automatic launches just because they're easier on my brain. So all good old-fashioned ×4 speed going on here. And I'm just kind of manually adjusting the orbit by eye. Not necessarily making the best job of it, as you will discover. So this is fairly standard stuff at this stage. And I'm just kind of going by, chucking myself at the horizon, waiting till my apoapsis gets to be perfectly honest, redonkulous levels that you need for a Kerbo-stationary orbit. Although I have done orbits bigger, I think you can see just how badly I'm mangling it. I'm going in all sorts of weird directions and very, very far off. But I'm not put off. I'm going to go for it. So I'm going back to script control, and I'm using my circularize script. Setting alarms, setting it going, time to time, all that good stuff. Now, what I've realised that I've not done is I didn't stage. I didn't take that into account, the staging. So I didn't actually have enough in that stage to get me through, so I've had to redo it again. And I kind of decided at this point that I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to try and recircularize. I'm just going to go, what's the next largest problem I need to fix, and that's the inclination. So this is an inclination change that I'm doing here. And I wonder if anyone spotted the mistake that I have made. So there you go. I've done the inclination change. You notice that the apoapsis is actually pretty spot on. So I'm feeling very, very pleased with myself at this stage. So in a very small number of burns, and I've got myself, pretty much. I'm looking at that and saying, yeah, that's pretty good. So all I need to do now is just wait for. Oh wait, why has everything turned off? And the answer is that I'm an idiot and I have forgotten yet again. And this is the thing I just find myself keep doing. I forget to get the panels. So there's going to be a brief pause. When I don't really do much. I'm looking up where to find the autosave because I'm saying, oh, so this. I'm not gonna do a full launch. I'm going to find the autosave, and I'm going to go back to the autosave and go from there. And so you can see. So I've gone back in time a bit and found myself. And I'm now typing out panels on, which will automatically, in the cost script, will automatically make all the panels come out. You'll notice it took me a couple of times because I kept trying to type panels out for some strange reason that I don't quite understand. Like, I've only typed that command a gazillion times. I should know what it's called by now, but no. So, redoing it. Just running node following scripts as always, setting alarms. Yeah, it's all good. You notice how I actually get quite a nice orbit there, which is very close to. Well, it's essentially it's in the same area. Now, what I did is I screwed up again, is because I forgot to stage, because that's probably when it auto-saved when I ran out of fuel. And I thought that the node follow script would then just accept the next, if I spin the node once around the orbit. But no, it tried to burn it again anyway, and that meant it was pointing in a ridiculously stupid direction. So I have to do a lot of corrections. So more corrections, time to time, run it again. And this time I'm going straight to not just the orbital inclination, but also I'm putting the periapsis in about the right. I think that's the apoapsis. I do apologise. The apoapsis is more or less in the right place. And now he's just doing a final correction to get the final burn, the final get the periapsis where I want it. I really am going to have to make some scripts, but there I am. I'm now looking to verify that I've got it. And I just have to wait for it to take that 10 seconds. And now I'm going to do some stuff back at Athena and Pallas.
Hello. What I'm doing at the minute is I'm going to see if I can't capture this high polar temperature thingy without expending too much delta V. It's not going in the direction I thought it would do. There seems to be a weird time where when you're putting together an orbit. It might be as simple as 45 degrees, where what the radial handles do, the pink handles, and what the green handles do seem to reverse. So, which is kind of interesting. It seems to be going back down there. It seems to be working the way I expected it to again, which is nice. Or maybe it didn't, I'm not sure. So what I'm trying to do is get fairly low over this point here, or at least very close to that point there. Not so low that I'm actually crashing into the ground, but pretty low. When will that orbit be? 29 minutes. So I'll just load up this. Work how to spell switch properly. ISP. On X node ISP. Well, that's interesting. I wonder it's because what it's probably complaining about. Yeah, there we go. It's complaining about not finding any engines, or trying to add engines with um, zero ISP, and that generally happens if you've got an engine that's in fact shut down. So at some point I'd shut down all these engines. Make sure they're all open. And the fuel is not balanced. Why would the fuel not be balanced? That's aggravating. The fuel on one of these tanks is not the same as everyone else. 165, 164. That's strange. One six four, 164, 165, 164, and it's saying there's a very large difference between the two. Unless it's oxidized to 201, 200, 200. So that makes no sense. Thrust limiter, maybe? No. It's interesting, I don't know why it's reporting that difference. Oh well, I'm just going to have to hope that is in fact okay. So I should be able to. Now it's going to be a very interesting question as to exactly how long. Now let's see, okay, so this is going to be a 38-second burn. Unless you have about 3 minutes of burn that I can do, so it should be okay. And we'll see how this goes, I guess. Give it 30 seconds of leeway. That was weird. Did I put the thing in the... Yeah, I think that's what I did. Yeah, okay. Right, so 478 delta V out of my 4000, so it should be alright. But of course I've got the usual problem that I've got quite a low it's a low orbit, so I can't fast forward that quickly. I much prefer to fast forward quite quickly. I still have the problem that the Athena station as a whole is still, its orbit is extremely inclined. I can no longer remember why that is, but my orbit there is very inclined. I want to fix that at some point. But my main goal here is to get rid of this temperature waypoint, because it's just very far out the way, and there's going to be a pain in the buttocks to get otherwise. So get rid of it now. Maybe head over and fetch it. Sorry, once I've got that one, head over and fetch those two, and maybe I think that would finish off that contract, unless that's part of it. I'm not sure it is. Okay, so that's going to go about what, 15-20 seconds. Big inclination change. slightly worrying orbit looking like it's going to smash into the ground, but hopefully that will all fix itself. Yes, it's a very expensive thing to do with your delta V, is to do a huge inclination change like that. But the whole point of this grasshopper thing is that I have got the delta V to burn, literally, obviously, which should enable me to do stunts like this. And there we go. So now it's just going to be a case of setting an alarm here and deciding how far back I want to start my landing script. Oh, is that Linmus all the way over there? Yeah, it is. Anyway, how far back I want to send my landing script. I lose at least 3 or 4 degrees of latitude, but fundamentally I'm probably better off landing reasonably well and then using my hover script that points the way to actually get there. So I'm going to use this as I'm not going to use the node, I'm just going to use it to give myself a target, basically. Hopefully I'm in fact going to be able to have enough room. There's a polar crater there, so yeah. Perhaps we could have done with getting some science there, but never mind. I'm going to have to do another set of essentially self-made missions to go to various biomes and do science there. Alright, so I'm going to run my land script. Where am I going with it? This is all kind of very... Sometimes I go with that. It's all very... I'm not sure how much distance I lose when I run my land script. 5 height. Altitude of the terrain. That's used. Well, I think that's going to be enough. Guess I'm going to find out. This is more Midland, so I'm not going to get any extra science out of this one. What's this called? Cheberos. Oh, okay. Right, well, let's run this now then. Meanwhile, I'm trying to see if I can find the actual contract. Trying to work out exactly. I mean, what I'm hoping is that I don't have to be on the ground. Sorry, I'm hoping I do have to be on the ground. What I'm worried about is potentially having to be in the air, because there are a few of those contracts where you actually have to be up in the air. Ah, in flight. Oh, where is that temperature thing? Oh, so that's in fact that done. God damn it. So, right. Right, I want to go. I don't know what direction I bloody want to go actually. Let's go. Let's start with up. Let's say I want to go up. Now I'm going to go prograde. And now I'm going to stop going prograde. I'm in fact going to stop. I'm going to go towards the horizon. It's a good thing I checked that, otherwise I would have completely wasted some time. And I'm going to see if I can, in fact, end up round about this area. While not crashing into anything. And nudge myself a little bit this way. And I'm going to go slightly higher. Okay, that's higher than I need to, but never mind. Basically to give myself some space to land. So sweet, I got, oh, scratch. I got that. That gives me 90 science. Woo, and some monies. Where's that put me in science? Nearly, but not quite enough to get a next rank thing. Well, so there you go. So I'm about 12k meters above the surface, so I'm a bit high, and I'm a bit. Could do going that way a bit. Yeah, I was wondering if I could find node or antinode, but not giving me that. That's kind of interesting. Wanted to move my orbit around a little bit. Part of that, I suspect, is just the fact that part of it is the fact that this is in fact moving that way. It's orbiting around. So I'm going to miss it slightly. It's doing some good. Look at that. I didn't seem to do too much to my apoapsis, so there you go. Well, I'm going to leave it there for the moment, because what with the satellite launch and all that kind of stuff, I think that should be enough for one episode. So I'm going to say thanks so much for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you've been enjoying these videos. If you want to find more about Nearly Enough Dice, we're on Facebook and various other places, but mostly we're at nearlyenoughdice.com, and you'll find our role-playing game themed podcast and blog. And until next time, please reach for the stars.